Hello again, viewers, and greetings, fellow space travelers. This is Thorn of Night on the Performium Skyblock server, and welcome to another glorious night. And I decided to get this started at night because I'm working up here on the mushroom, and I just thought it was just totally fitting because it has the feel of nighttime up here. And as you can see, the road has been stretched out on both sides of the center line, and you can get a better idea of where the road is. But the road is not the end-all be-all of what's going on up here. No, no. There is going to be some development. I am going to be placing in random locations some hand grown, or not hand grown, but manually crafted and built mushrooms, the stalks of which are going to be, I was in the way, are going to be just the acacia logs, because these do look very mushroomy. Now, the acacia itself is not going to be used as the mushroom. Instead, for the mushrooms, I'm going to be using the mushroom blocks, and I probably should have gotten those. Hold on, let me cut here. Alright, this is why it pays to be prepared, so you don't do what I just did and get lost in thought. Anyway, it was unfamiliar territory, can you blame me? So what I've got going on here is this is going to be the brunt of the mushroom, and as far as the middle of the structure is concerned, it's going to have, let's see here, this, and then, let's see here, some of these. And we'll just pretend that these are also mushroom blocks. And then put one here. More mushroom blocks. You don't see me not having enough mushroom blocks for this. It's your imagination. And then let's see here, build out here, and do one of these numbers, and then that, and so on and so forth. And the structure of this thing is going to be, let me just, you know what? I'll use sponges. Oh, I already have them in my hotbar. I'll just use sponges for the rest of this. There we go. And then don't need this with that. Doop, doop, doop. I almost forgot the whole reason why I have this design is that airspace under all of it. Yes, it is. And then finally, let's do this. Wow, that lag. Alright. So the shape of the mushroom is going to be basically this right here. I'm going to have some lumps in different places. Well, that wasn't supposed to be glowstone. There we go. Some lumps like this, maybe a little sticking up there, but they're not going to be exactly perfect, but they are going to be about that tall, maybe taller on occasion, and all you'll really be able to see as you're walking around is the stem and then the mushroom. It's only going to have a couple sponge blocks per mushroom, and I like the sponge block because it looks very fungal. So that's what it's there for, is to look like a fungus. But it's going to mostly be the brown mushroom, and I have spent all of my brown mushrooms that I have on this demonstration. So it looks very rubbishy right now. But the advantage of it is if I pop out these torches here that are within a reasonable distance of this. Let's get rid of all of you. And then I hit F3. It's not until I get out to here that it becomes dark. So here's what I'm thinking. The areas around the base of these mushrooms where it is light enough to not need torches is going to remain black wool. And I'm going to space these apart a fairly good distance. Like I'll have one maybe right, they're not in my hotbar anymore. Yay! I'll have one maybe right there. And over here. And then I might have one close, and then another one a certain distance away from that. And I'm just going to pepper the whole surface of this mushroom with these. And then anywhere where it is too dark, which I need to go ahead and retorch this because I don't want things to spawn on accident, but anywhere that it is too dark is going to, instead of being torched, it's going to be covered with the gray wool splotches that I had planned. It was supposed to be like age rings kind of, and then I realized, you know what? It could be like a sort of a hint of nutrient sapping. Like wherever these mushrooms pop up, the nutrients have been slurped out of the ground. And also, not all of these are going to necessarily be too wide. Some of them can be one wide. So I can come up with a design where I have like the mushrooms, oops, out like this. And then break these guys here. Oops. And then make a stunted mushroom cap on top. Oops. Sort of like that. And I can just have a variety of different mushrooms. Obviously, the mushrooms aren't going to be made out of these logs. This is just what I had in my hand. But it's going to be just a variety of different mushrooms that are, in fact, the light source. And then everywhere else that's not lit by the mushrooms is going to be that gray wool. And out of the gray wool is where I'm going to be having the... Let's see here, that's this side. Out of the gray wool is where I'm going to be having more of these fungal growths. And I'm going to also put some gray wool around here to replace the black wool along the wall. That way, these have a specific point of origin and a reason for their growth. I also need to start growing them from under the mushroom cap. But first, what I want to do, what I really, really want to accomplish today, is figuring out where all of the mushrooms are going to be going up here, and then filling everything else in with that gray. It's going to probably take a little bit of fiddling around with the spacing and all that, but it'll totally be worth it. Now, one other thing that I'm going to need to do for this is the places where the acacia path is up on top of the wool, I'm going to need to also include some more slabs along the side here to mask the wall, and so that there is a step up for people going around, because you come this way and you want to continue on the path, you're going to have to jump, and I don't want people to have to jump. I just want it to be a smooth walk. So I am going to have to do a little bit of lighting calculations for these stretches and probably make sure that there are mushrooms very close to keep the slabs lit, because nothing will spawn on these slabs, but if I make a whole block, say for instance here, something will spawn if it is dark enough. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and see what the lighting level on this one spot is, just out of morbid curiosity. This is lighting level 7. So, yeah, that's going to be an important thing to worry about. So I'm going to have to do some fiddling with that. But first and foremost, I want to get the spreading of these mushrooms in place. And I don't want them to be too close to each other either, because I really do want to have a good mix of stuff. And that's why I'm having a different assortment of shapes and sizes. And also, I am going to be having the fungal growths that do not look like these, with the very neon kind of colors. You know, this has just occurred to me. That shape doesn't look too terribly bad. I might do that. Let me look at this. Doing some experimenting on camera. Okay, that's not too bad. So there's a bunch of different shapes that I could work with. Obviously, the mushrooms are going to be handmade because I don't want them to all look like the actual bone mealed mushrooms, but because, oh my goodness, seafoam alien, because of the theme of that type of mushroom, I am going to probably have some of the bone mealed brown mushrooms. Probably not the red ones, but some of the brown ones. Those mushrooms, however, won't be emitting any light at all. So that's the trade-off. Those will be dark mushrooms, and these will be the lit mushrooms. So I've got my work cut out for me. Let's see what we can do. I'll be right back. Alright, with the help of little Cuddles here, not only have I managed to place the starter points for all of where I'm going to be having the majority of the mushrooms. I may add a couple or delete a couple here and there, but for the most part, what I did is I placed where I want mushrooms to be for sure, and then I had Cuddles go around and randomly select ones that are going to be the smaller versions here. And those are the ones that have had the glowstone block placed on them. I just placed a second one. She went and basically marked all of them with a single glowstone. I wanted to use her version of random rather than mine because I think my version of random would be a little funny looking. So I just stayed over by the chests counting and looking at things while she went around and placed those. And now that she's done, I am very happy. She's very good at random. So the ones that are already too tall with the glowstone, those are going to be the small mushrooms. And what she's doing while I'm recording right now is making the remaining ones the stalk bases for these mushrooms. And yes, it is glowstone on top, but it's going to be okay. I may add, well, let's see here. If you are on the road, you can't really see the tops of even the bottom mushrooms, even if you are up here, I don't think. So I shouldn't really even have to worry about people being able to see the glowstone. If you can, then oh well. But the glowstone on top is so that I don't have to have torches up here, because otherwise this right here, this block was lighting level 4, and that would be no bueno. So ultimately, this is going to be the start of the mushroom forest. It's not complete yet. The next stage will obviously be to finish building the mushrooms, and then it's going to be time to decide where I might be planting maybe between 3 and 6 normal brown mushrooms, and then after that comes all of the tendrils coming out of the ground. So that's what I've got in line. So hopefully this will get done in a reasonable amount of time. I do have help from the lovely little Cuddles right now, and that is very delightful. She is very good at what she does. Anyway, I'm going to get back to work, and hopefully next time I'm talking to you, the mushrooms will be in place and I will be starting work on the tendrils. So be right back. So a couple things are going on. First off, I have been bombarded today. It's been just this glorious mass of people flocking, and it was unexpected, but I've been bombarded by people here on Skyblock saying, me, pick me, I want to join the faction. So, holy crap, did lots of activity there. Secondly, apparently unranked people cannot use punctuation. Ranked people can. I don't know if they're trolling, but I have not seen anyone that is gray text, anyone without rank, using any punctuation at all. So something interesting is going on there. Wow. Anyway, the other reason why I'm recording right now is because the next phase has begun. All of the mushrooms are in place, and with the help of little Cuddles, we are placing wool in areas where the lighting is 7 or below. And let's see here, all of these are getting some carpet. Oops. And ultimately this is going to just continue on out for the whole mushroom, but I just want you to see roughly how it looks, or how it's going to look. These gray spots, this is what I was talking about. Where the tendrils are going to come out, they're going to be anchored where a lot of the gray is heaviest. And the gray is going to be heaviest where there is less light coming off of these mushrooms here. So that's the criteria that I'm using. I can probably predict that this here needs one, and this, yes. So it's not as bad as it may seem at first for figuring out where the carpet needs to go. Thank you for eating in my ear. But it is going to take a little bit of time to do this, and probably a bit more help from Cuddles and or Johnny Happy Feet or one or more other people. But I'm hoping to get this done today. So let me just grind away at this, and I'll be back with hopefully the whole thing covered, or at least a progress report on what's going on. But there we go. Punctuation for noobs and brightness for carpet. Wow, the diversity. Anyway, back to work. Okay, so with the help of these two lovely ladies, Ender Lady X and little Cuddles here, hello, you can't hear me right now, but hello. Oh, we're all still holding the carpet. Oh no, I'm being licked. Oh, I'm being licked. Lol. Anyway, the carpet has been placed. This actually took a lot more capit. I'm suddenly from the Bronx. Anyway, or Boston. I totally didn't realize how much it was going to take to do all this. So needless to say, a lot of sheep got naked again. But it's done. They helped more than I could possibly have wished for. Even they were stupendous. And the variety of mushrooms that I have so far, I'm completely thrilled to death with. I decided to go with only a few having the additional fungal growths on them, the sponges. And then I have some variety of sizes. I basically have three main designs. I've got this tall one, this medium one, and then the small one. Then I after I figure out just how dense I want this to be and where I want the tendrils to be, I'm also going to plant some normal brown mushrooms, just the flat ones with the white stalks. Add a little bit of brighter white color to this. But now it's time to start focusing on the actual tendrils. One other thing, I added magenta carpet to the perimeter of this, and I think it pops really nicely. I decided instead of moving it down, I am going to keep the netherrack there. That way, any lightning that strikes it won't make an eternal flame, and from the sides it still has the pink from the netherrack up top. I'm being stalked. She's torturing me. Anyway, I think before I put in the mushroom thing, now that the top of this is laid out, and as far as I can tell, we basically went over this with a fine-tooth comb, everything is lit. So, I'm going to add the balloon to this. Before I go ahead and put the mushroom thing in, the mushroom biome, or greenhouse. There we go. I can never remember what it is. I call it mushroom instead of mushroom, and biome instead of greenhouse. Wow. So, this is almost the end of this stage of the process, but before I get onto the tendrils, I am going to add one more thing, and it's not the fungal bloom where the nether portal is going to go, which I have for sure decided is going to go here. Let me see. Yes. Right here. Facing this way, I think. I am going to place, and actually let me go ahead and do this so that the torch is at the end that I want it to be. It's going to be wider than this, but I'm going to put a flying dragon with the dragon head. Now, I'm also going to be putting some flying around up above, but this one is going to be here to hint to people that there's dragon stuff around. And, oh boy, this is a lot. There we go. What I'm probably going to end up doing is having some dragons swooping around up over here in several different locations, but there's also going to be a completely different type of dragon in the sky, and it's going to be one of those really large, giant, just long Chinese serpent dragons that look like they're just swimming through the air instead of flying. And it's going to kind of reach around over here and be part of the roller coaster that I'm going to be building into the sky. So, I think that I'm just about done with this. I might just go ahead and cut this video short, but let me just run around a little bit more, see if I want to do any final touches or if anything pops to mind real quick, and then I'll be right back and we will see if we're going to wrap up today. So, I'll talk to you in just a moment. Alright, so I have done a little bit of preparation. I need to gather a few more resources before I do the dragon and before I get on with, I'm at the total other end of the mushroom. Here we go. Before I get on with what's going to be going here for the diving platforms and all that. Instead of trying to get a whole other project started, and because if you aren't aware of it yet, I have also started doing a bit of work over on the factions server for Performium Skyblock, which I started. So I'm kind of going to need to be splitting my attention between the two for a while, especially getting started on the factions. This is just a couple days in. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up here and just call this huge amount of work, which took hours upon hours today, the project for the day. So thank you very much for watching, If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please feel free to leave a message in the comment section below, and I will be more than happy to get back to you as quick as I can. If you like this video and you like what I'm doing here, please feel free to give a like. Oh, she's back. I do appreciate it, and it does help. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe so you know when my future episodes and videos come out. I have lots and lots of things looming on the horizon. So, thank you once again for watching. This is Thorn of Night on the Performium Skyblock server, and I will talk to you later.